Stephon Gilmore to the Seattle Seahawks. That's the first rumor we're talking about here. And I'll tell you what, Sports Illustrated went out and they wrote a fun little article and said that the Seahawks, they need to go out and pursue Gilmore in a trade. The biggest reason is because if this team considers themselves a Super Bowl contender, they still lack massive cornerback depth, which I definitely would agree with. You lost probably your two best cornerbacks last season, and now you're just trying to piece it together in the secondary. I mean, can we not forget that there was a point last year that Seattle was on pace to break the record for most passing yards given up in a single year? Luckily, their schedule got a little bit easier down the stretch, but if you believe that, hey, we are a cornerback away, or hey, we need to bolster this secondary a little bit, why not maybe go out and make a move for Stephon Gilmore, who has definitely been featured in a ton of Patriots trade rumors. Now, the other issue with that is all right, if you're Seattle, you already are hindered with the limited ability to be able to trade because you don't have a lot of draft capital. They already don't have a first-round pick in 2022. So if you want to give up a second-round pick for Gilmore, then you're like, all right, well, we don't have a first or second-round pick. But you've already seen, if you're willing to go out and give up 2 for Jamal Adams, why not go out and give up a lot for a guy like Gilmore, who he's better than Reed, he's better than Witherspoon, and I understand that those are moves that you already went out and made this offseason, but you need to be able to find a shutdown corner, I personally believe, in this division, especially when you're going up against Arizona, who's got DeAndre Hopkins, when you're going up against somebody like the Rams, who just got a new quarterback in Matthew Stafford. He's going to be throwing to Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, and, I'm not going to really get too crazy about the 49ers, but they have a lot of depth also at the wide receiver position. So if you're Seattle, you're like, you know what, man, we're in probably one of the toughest divisions in the entire league, and we are chasing this ring right now. Plus, I understand that Russell doesn't play defense, or I'm talking about Russell Wilson, but this move would make him pretty happy in my personal opinion. So should Seattle go out and trade for Stephon Gilmore, I want you to type T for trade, or I want you to go ahead and type your P for pass. Now, if you are going to go ahead and type your T for trade, reminder, they do not have a first-round pick in 2022. So if you go down in the comment section right now, be creative. Maybe give me an idea of what you think it could potentially take for the Atlanta Falcons or for the Seattle Seahawks to go out and make a move for one Stephon Gilmore. And the other reason why I would say, you know what, if you can pull the trigger and make this work, I mean, it's only going to cost you $8.53 million in 2021 because New England has to pay. It's somewhere like a little bit over $7.5 million of Gilmore's contract. So the fact that they're willing to eat that amount, if you can give up a second rounder and get Gilmore, that's something I would absolutely do. And a lot of people out there are going to be like, well, Mitch, he was injured last year. I don't know if the thigh's going to be 100% healthy. If this man is 80% healthy, 90% healthy, he's still a top 10 cornerback in my personal opinion. 2019, won Defensive Player of the Year, 53 tackles, 20 pass breakups, 6 INTs. It is extremely difficult in today's league, which is so wide receiver driven. A lot of people always talk about what's the hardest position to play. Corner might be the hardest position to play because you can't put your hands on anyone. And the fact that this dude has had 20 pass breakups the past 2 seasons and has had over 9 pass breakups the last 5 years, from 2019 to 2015, that's pretty productive if you ask me. So what I want you guys to do right now is we're going to play a little bit of Madden here. Who here plays Madden? Let me know. I don't personally play. If you want to put your gamer tag in the comments, go for it. I want you to rate Gilmore as a player from a scale from 0 to 100. When fully healthy, he is a 95 and up. I mean, that's how good I still think he is. Is he getting up there in age? Absolutely. But if you're a team like Seattle chasing a ring and you have a chance to go out and get this guy, I say you go ahead and do it. One of the biggest stories going on right now around the NFL is where in the world is Julio Jones going to play? Somebody from The Athletic decided to write a fun little article here and said, you know what the Seattle Seahawks need to do? They need to go out and explore trading for the Falcons star wide receiver. Now, they go all the way back to about 10, 11 months ago when Russell Wilson had a fun little quote that basically was like, we want playmakers, we need playmakers. If anybody can look at me in the eyes and say that Julio Jones is not a playmaker, I'm simply going to say that you are crazy. And if you remember, they were looking for a David Moore replacement. The last thing I'm trying to do is put Julio Jones and David Moore in the same conversation. But if you are looking for a third receiver, if you are looking for another body out there to catch passes from Russell Wilson, I'll tell you what, man, Julio Jones would be a phenomenal addition to this offense, especially for a team that is trying to not only contend in their division, but trying to contend and go out and win a Super Bowl. So the latest Julio Jones odds here, and for a lot of 12 fans out there, I imagine you're going to be pretty excited when you see this. Plus 150, the Seahawks, as it stands right now, have the best odds in the National Football League to go out and get Julio Jones. The second best odds, the Tennessee Titans, despite A.J. Brown's pursuit on his weird videos that he's making. The Patriots, the Ravens, and then the Las Vegas Raiders. Those are your top 5 teams. But this is the thing about the NFL. You just never really know, do you? Could we see somebody like Kyle Shanahan, who has a great relationship with Julio Jones from their time in the past? Could they make a move? If the Green Bay Packers want to keep Aaron Rodgers happy, Julio Jones would be a great addition. The Dolphins have done a good job. Julio's already said he doesn't plan on going to Dallas, but they're the Cowboys. They're always going to be in odds. And then the Chargers. The Chargers did lose Hunter Henry. I understand that he doesn't play tight end, at least that's Julio. But still, if you're looking for extra playmakers, the Chargers could be another team in here. But what do y'all think? Should Seattle go out and trade for Julio Jones? I want you to type T for trade, or I want you to type P for pass. If you're going to type your P for pass, it's okay. You can just tell me, hey, this offense is already stacked. We don't need them. If you're going to type your T for trade, I am curious about what type of trade you guys have going on. I got a trade coming up here in just a little bit. So let's first off, though, look at Julio Jones' numbers and why I would sit here and say, you know what, man, I'm going to go out and trade for this guy if you have an opportunity to do so. I get that Seattle doesn't have a lot of draft capital, but in 9 games last season, this man averaged close to 85 receiving yards per game. His touchdown numbers have always been a little bit low, but who knows? Maybe that would change with Russell Wilson, because this is a team that they get in the red zone, they move the football a lot better than what Atlanta does. But then also for everyone out there, it's like, well, he's an injury-prone wide receiver. He's getting up there in age. He is getting up there in age. But this guy has missed only 11 games, 7 last year, since 2014. And when he does play, he's one of the best in the absolute biz. So, look at these numbers right here. Even if he is a little bit injured, I think an 80%, 75% Julio Jones, he's one of the best receivers in the game. And for the Seahawks, you see the Rams. I think they got better. The 49ers, they're going to be better. You also have, who's the other team in their division? Drawing a blank here. The 49ers, the the Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, and then the Cardinals. They're also getting better. As you can see, really, really shook here on Seahawks show today. But also the other reason why I'm going to go ahead and do it is because $15.3 million. If you can get somebody this good, that to me is well worth it, because he would make $22 million with Atlanta, but they have to end up eating some of his contract. But even paying somebody as good as Julio Jones about $12.5 million over the next 3 years combined, that's pretty respectable. Now, maybe he asked for an extra contract, and if that's the case, you got some other things that you got to be able to do with somebody like Jamal Adams. It could really hinder your ability to extend him. But I'm going to show you a graphic right now. And if you don't get a little bit excited, luckily you can't see underneath the table here with me, or else, I'd have to probably cancel my show. But DK Metcalf, Julio Jones, Tyler Lockett. Somebody please find me a better trio of wide receivers in the league. There isn't one. I'm sorry, and it's really not even close. I've been covering the NFL here for quite some time at Chat Sports. I've been doing a lot of fantasy football articles probably over the last 8 years. And my time covering, I don't think there'd be a better wide receiver trio than what you see on screen right now. Metcalf, Julio Jones, Tyler Lockett. So can we make it happen? Now, here was the trade idea that the Athletic decided to put together. And, they were like, this is what we believe it would take to go out and get the star receiver. The Seahawks, they get Julio Jones. The Falcons get a second-round pick in 2022 and 2023. For those of you that don't remember or don't know this, that means then next season, the Seahawks are basically punting on round 1 and punting on round 2 because they don't have a first-round pick next offseason simply because of the whole Jamal Adams trade. So what do y'all think here? Who wins this bad boy? Type SCA for Seattle, or I want you to go down in the comments section and type HCL for the Atlanta Falcons. I actually think both sides could potentially win this. Atlanta gets 2 second-round picks they can build for their future after Matt Ryan, and if the Seahawks believe that they have a Super Bowl caliber team, then why not and go make a move for Julio Jones?